If you think you're alone in your house right now, you might want to take one last look at your vents. Because tonight's story isn't about ghosts, or demons, or anything supernatural. It's about something far more real. A true account from 1981, about a boy named Hendrix, and the man who lived, watched, and eventually died, inside the walls of his home. When Hendrix was 9 years old, he had a secret ritual. Late at night, long after everyone else had gone to bed, he'd creep downstairs to steal leftovers from the fridge. No lights. No sound. Just the hum of the refrigerator guiding him. He knew the house well enough to walk it blind. But on a warm night in May 1981, that safety ended. As Hendrix reached the bottom of the stairs, he heard it. A sharp scrape. Metal dragging across the countertop. He froze mid-step. In the dim green glow of the microwave clock, he saw the outline of a man. A full-grown man, calmly eating cold leftovers at his kitchen counter. Drinking from the milk carton like he did it every night. The man never looked toward Hendrix. Never noticed him. Terrified, Hendrix ran upstairs and woke his parents, shaking so badly he could barely speak. But when they searched the kitchen, the man was gone. No footprints. No open cabinets. Nothing. They dismissed it as imagination, too many comic books, they said, and sent him back to bed. But Hendrix wasn't imagining anything. And he was determined to prove it. Over the next few weeks, he began quietly marking things in the kitchen. The exact angle of the napkin holder. The position of the salt shaker. Which mugs were clean, which ones were put away. And soon, he noticed changes. Small ones. The napkin holder moved a few inches. A cup appeared in the sink that hadn't been there the night before. A cabinet door left open just a crack. Someone else was still moving through the house while everyone slept. Then August came, humid, suffocating, the air conditioning working overtime. Hendrix was lying in bed reading one night when something made him glance up at the vent above his head. Something shifted behind it. At first he thought it was a trick of the shadows. Until two eyes stared back at him from behind the vent. He screamed so loudly his parents burst into the room within seconds. They tore through the attic, the crawlspace, every corner of the house. But they found nothing. Once again, they dismissed him. But Hendrix knew what he saw. Those eyes were real. Someone was crawling through the ventilation system, watching him. A few weeks later, near the end of August, Hendrix woke to what looked like grains of rice scattered across his blanket. Except, rice doesn't move. As he leaned closer, he realized, they were maggots. They were falling from the vent above his bed. His parents called professionals immediately. This time, no one told him he was imagining things. When the workers opened the vent, the smell hit first, thick, rotting, sickening. And then they saw him. The same man Hendrix had seen in the kitchen months earlier. Curled on a foam pad he dragged inside the ductwork. Wedged deep inside the ventilation system. Dead. He had been living inside their air ducts for weeks, maybe months. Crawling through the walls. Sleeping above their rooms. Watching Hendrix through the vents at night. And on the nights when the house was quiet, and everyone was asleep, he would slip out, walk through the halls, and eat whatever he wanted from the family's kitchen, before climbing back into the vents to hide. Hendrix hadn't imagined a thing. The man was real. And he had been there the whole time. So if you're lying in bed tonight, and you hear a faint shift in the wall, a quiet breath, or the soft rattle of a vent cover, just remember. Hendrix thought he was safe in his own home, too. Sometimes, the scariest person in your home is the one you never even knew was there. This story begins in December of 2019, when a 21-year-old man named Scariest contacted a 12-year-old girl over social media. What started as innocent messages quickly became something far more sinister. Within weeks, he traveled hundreds of miles, from Washington all the way to the Umatilla Indian Reservation in Oregon, just to find her. He wasn't invited. He wasn't wanted. But he came anyway. In early February, he convinced the girl to secretly let him inside her home. Not just for a visit, but to live there. While her grandfather cooked, cleaned, watched TV, and slept, Cavazos was hiding inside the walls of everyday life. He moved into the girl's bedroom, slipping in and out like a shadow. He learned which floorboards creaked, which doors groaned, where to hide when footsteps approached. Under the bed, inside the closet, pressed against the darkness, holding his breath, listening. For weeks, he blended into the silence. That is, until February 25th. The girl's grandfather walked in and saw a grown man standing inside his home. A stranger. A trespasser. A threat. He chased Cavazos out of the house immediately. Warned him never to come back. Told him to stay far, far away from his granddaughter. But the warning didn't matter. Because Cavazos didn't leave. He didn't go home. He didn't run. Instead, he crept right back into the house. And hid. Not for minutes. Not for hours. But for weeks. From February 25. All the way until March 11th. Imagine living in a home where someone else is quietly slipping behind you. Ducking beneath the bed when you walk by. Closing a closet door just seconds before you open it. Watching the house fall asleep before crawling out into the night. That was the reality inside that home. On March 11th, the grandfather sensed something was wrong. A feeling. A shift in the air. A presence. When he opened the bedroom door, he found Cavazos hiding in the shadows once again. This time, he didn't run. This time, the police were called. And this time, the truth came out. Cavazos had been secretly living in that room for nearly 2 weeks. After already sneaking in before. A stranger living in a child's bedroom. Moving at night. Hiding during the day. Existing in the narrow spaces where normal people never look. It's the kind of fear that crawls under your skin. Because it can happen anywhere. To anyone. And often, you won't know until it's far too late. Sometimes, the things you blame on ghosts aren't ghosts at all. In 2019, a 20-year-old student named Maddie was living with her roommates in an off-campus apartment near the University of North Carolina. And for weeks, strange things kept happening. Clothes went missing from her closet. Unfamiliar handprints appeared on the bathroom wall. And every now and then, she felt like someone had been in her room while she was gone. The girls joked about having a resident ghost. Because honestly, what else could it be? But one Saturday afternoon, the truth finally revealed itself. Maddie walked into her room, set down her bags, and froze. There were noises coming from her closet. Soft. Shuffling. Human. Trying to convince herself it was just a raccoon, she called out, half laughing, half terrified. "Who's there?" And a voice answered. A man's voice. "Oh, my name is Drew." Every hair on her body stood up. Maddie opened the closet door. And what she found was worse than anything paranormal. A full-grown man, crouched in the corner. Wearing her clothes. Her jacket. Her hat. Her socks. He stared at her like it was the most normal thing in the world. Maddie didn't scream. She didn't run. She grabbed her phone and texted her boyfriend one word. Help. Within minutes, he burst into the apartment and confronted the intruder, forcing him out of the room while the police were contacted. The man, 30-year-old Andrew Clyde Swafford, was arrested soon after. But the most unsettling part? Police found no sign of forced entry. No broken locks. No damaged windows. No clues to how long he'd been slipping in and hiding in her closet. Watching. Listening. Waiting. For weeks, the girls thought they had a ghost. But the truth was much worse. They had a man living in the shadows of their home. Trying on their clothes. Breathing their air. And hiding just inches away. Sometimes the scariest part of life isn't the supernatural. It's the people who learn to move like ghosts. Right inside your own home.